Gold and silver are two popular investments for those looking for assets that can be both a store of value and an inflation hedge. These precious metals are both well regarded and have long histories, but since they offer different kinds of benefits and safety, investors should know how they're likely to perform in various economic climates before deciding to invest in either. And that is up to you to decide. For this video, we're simply going to look at the charts. First up is the 20-year monthly chart on the Spider Gold Trust, and the symbol is GLD. And for disclosure purposes, I do not own any shares of GLD at this time. Now, we've looked at this chart before. We have a nice top at that point, then a decline, nice bottoming and basing, and a move on up. And this is like a cup and a handle, if you remember. Came on up, and here's the handle, and we're starting to pop back up here. So the idea would be with a cup and handle is to wait until it gets above these two measures here, or actually this one over here on the left. But although this has a nice bottom and basing, it's not the best cup and handle out there. But that's what you would be looking for, at least in my opinion. Moving on down here, what I like about the volume is that this is declining while the actual stock declined. Now, what is interesting about that is all through 2022, we had high inflation, but we had a dropping gold price, at least by this ETF. Now, you go down here into the MACD, and you can see that we had that top here consistent with this top over here, and this again is what made the cup and handle. This is the cup, came up here, and the handle is dropping down here. So you see, though, by the measure of the MACD, that the fast line is bouncing off, reflecting off of that zero line, coming on up, and it looks like it's about to go through on the upside of that slow line, which is in red. So it looks pretty good for a rebound here. Moving on down into the histogram, pretty much the same thing you can see there as well. Price rate of change, nice little bottoming and basing in this handle portion with the fast line moving through, and both are moving above that zero line, which means it's getting stronger. Same thing here with the RSI. It's at a moderate 65.18, moving on up. Into the stochastics as well as into the Williams, definitely the topping process, the move on down, a bottoming and basing, heading on up here. Looks like it wants to even go above that -20 line into that overbought territory, but that's what you want. It can stay up there for a long time, just doing some sawtoothing up and down, but it looks like everything, most of the oscillators are on their way up and improving. So if you're a gold bug, it might not be a bad time to consider gold, but once again, study the financials and the fundamentals, because the decision is yours. Let's now go to silver. And we're now looking at the 20-year monthly chart on the iShares Silver Trust. The symbol is SLV, and for disclosure purposes, I do not hold any shares of SLV at this time either. Now, although there are many similar characteristics to the silver chart, with regard to the gold chart, there are some differences, such as this move up here in 2011. That's way above where we are right now, 2176. But you do see this nice cup, bottom basing, move on up, and then we have this handle here. Now, silver, or SLV, is moving on up. We have this top channel line moving down like that, but it looks like we're almost ready to pop above that. If so, that would be a good sign. Then your next stop point would be here, and then you have a lot of room on the way up. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the oscillators. Again, in the volume, a decent chart in the sense that volume is declining as the price declined. So here into the MAC, once again, a nice bottoming and basing here with the fast line just about ready to move through the slow line here near that zero line, which means it is strengthening. Now, down into the histogram, you see pretty much the same thing, and the other oscillators are also going to echo what we saw in gold, with the price rate of change looking decent near the zero line, relative strength moving above that 50 or midline, with the stochastics nice bottoming and basing here in the shorter term, moving on up and about to move through that 50 or midline, and the same thing with the Williams. So back on up into this chart here, I'm going to say that gold and silver, that's not my game. I like to have income producing assets, but if you want some silver or gold as a hedge, I would say study the fundamentals. And for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.